the Predators returned from a 5-day break in action as they kicked up the busy holiday month of December, starting off on the road in Amalie Arena against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And much like a lot of us do around the Christmas time, the Predators unfortunately put up a pretty disappointing effort in front of their fathers, losing the game 5-2 after tying it in the second period at 2. Now, one thing that we saw tonight that it seems like it happens quite a bit is that Nashville just could not find anything offensively. Now, we saw the 4 shots on goal in the first period, which were definitely not good, but by the end of the second period, Nashville had tied it with Tampa and did hold them to a fairly respectable number. They both were around 32 shots on goal for the Lightning and 35 for the Nashville Predators. And you would normally think that would be a good thing to keep up with, but Nashville struggled offensively, like I said before, getting only a shorthanded goal from Mark Jankowski, which was great, and Alex Carrier tallying his first of the year, but those aren't the guys you're going to want to rely on to score against a good team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tonight's one big stat is going to talk about what exactly Nashville does when they face certain situations and how they've performed under John Hynes. So let's talk about how well they do when they're holding teams to either a high goal amount or low goal amount. Tonight's one big stat. Now, since John Hynes has taken over, when Nashville has allowed 3 or more goals in his tenure, Nashville is 16, 78, and 7. So that's not a lot of wiggle room. Now, of course, Nashville has a very good goaltender in UC Saros, who unfortunately didn't have that great of a game, although 4 of the 5 shots he did face were high danger chances. You can't have a team that is you can't rely on a goaltender who is very good to always be very good, especially if you're going to have that many games. Over half the games in John Hynes' tenure have been games where they've allowed that many 3 or more goals and not give them the goal support at all. Let's take a closer look at that now. So in those games in which they allowed 3 or more goals, games like tonight when they were only had 2 goals, 2 or less, they have 0 wins, 49 losses, and 3 overtime losses, which is again not very good. But they've only had 50 games where they've actually been able to score 3 or more when the opponent has had 3 or more. And again, they're only 16, 30, and 4 in those situations. So Nashville, obviously, they can't always blame UC Saros for bad games, and this team obviously never will. But this guy, he's a goaltender that is very good. We watch him night after night to know that he's very good, even though he might struggle here or there this season. But this team shouldn't have to rely on UC Saros to play perfectly in order to win these games. He's done so in a lot of their big wins this season, but he can't be expected to do that every single night. And unfortunately, a lot of times saying head coaches in the NHL, they get fired for bad goaltending more than anything else. So this is something that they're going to have to watch out for. But as we've seen this season, this team is just they bounce around 500. They're only a couple points up above 500 right now at 12, 10, and 2. But this is a team that hasn't really flashed anywhere. They don't have a star scorer. Their offense is pretty mediocre. The defense has been good at times. The power play has struggled. The penalty kill has been struggling as of late. So what is this team going to be? What is it going to be when they what are they going to do to separate themselves from these middle of the road teams, basically where they're stuck right now in 5th place in the Central Division? Nashville's going to have to pick something because what they're doing right now isn't working and isn't sustainable. Nashville likes to grab teams and slow them down and play physical hockey. That's just the way John Hynes likes it. And they're really good at getting teams down into the mud like they did against Tampa. But unfortunately, the elite teams like Tampa, the Colorados, Edmontons, they're finding a way to skate at that mud pretty fast and leave the Predators in the dirt pretty much every single time. And that's tonight's one big